Thanks for joining us online today. If you've been impacted by this ministry and have a story to share of how God is working in your life, we would love to hear it. Send an email to amen@anchorpoint.tv. Also, you can help bring messages just like this one to others who need to hear the hope and the love of Jesus by investing today at anchorpoint.tv/give. Now, we hope you enjoy today's message.
Well, we are in our final week of 21 days with God. Man, how many tracking? You're doing good. Give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up. How many are at least trying? You giving it an effort. Come on, that's right. Here's my challenge. No matter where you're at, I want you to jump in. We're on the last. Today is day number 15, and we're going to push this to the finish. We got our last corporate prayer tomorrow night. Need you here. If you don't have anything to do, need you here. Tomorrow night, 6 o'clock, childcare is provided. We're going to wrap this 21 days with God up next Sunday with baptism. So if you need to be baptized, you need to grab that connection card and fill that out during this service. If you gave your life to Christ, we want to celebrate that day with you. And man, I love 21 days. How many of you have enjoyed this 21 days? You enjoyed it. You're not doing it right. No, I'm just kidding. That's a joke. All right, week 3. The reason I'm pumped, I usually hate week 3 messages. I really do. Week 3 is kind of like, it's kind of like the middle of a season on a TV show or something. And so, but I'm pumped about this week 3 because when 21 days, week 3 is where I begin to pick up momentum. That's where I begin to gain some strength. It's like going to the gym. Like the first time you go to the gym, you come home, you're sore, and you don't want to go back. Like I went Monday, like whatever the first Monday was, the 5th, and I did chest day, and my boobies were sore. I'm just going to say, hey, it is what it is. I'm just telling you. Couldn't even touch them. I had to tell my wife, keep your hands off of me. Seeking the Lord. Love you, babe. Love you. But now I'm going to the gym without getting sore and gaining a little strength. We got gains. Everybody say got gains. We got some gains. So praying you're gaining strength and confidence every day. And I want to jump into this series from here to there. Grab those message notes. And today is a note taker's dream. You may need extra notes today. And I hope I can get through the content that God has downloaded into my spirit this week. I think it's going to help us. I'm going to take a little bit more of a teacher tone during this message today, and I really want us to focus on from here to there and what it really looks like. And we're going to be in Exodus 14. I want to check in on the nation of Israel. If you've been here, you know that in previous weeks, things have been going relatively well. God recruited Moses to go free them after 400 years of slavery, and he gets Moses on board, and Moses goes to the children of Israel and says, hey, you're going to be free, but it's going to be hard. That was kind of week number 1. And then we checked in. I was Exodus chapter 3, and then we made a pit stop in Exodus 13, and we learned that between 3 and 13 that God's faithful, and God shows up with the 10 plagues and does what he says he's going to do. So they leave Egypt, and they headed to the promised land, but God chose to take them the long way. And sometimes you got to take the long way there, one path from here to there. And today when we open up the scene and kind of just lean into what's going on in the story. In Exodus 14, they're in a tight spot. God has not just led them the long way. God has led them to the Red Sea, and they're not at the Red Sea for a vacation. There's no umbrella drinks or Mai Tais or anything like that. No, the Red Sea actually to them represents a dead end. You ever been there? Yeah. A dead end, a cul-de-sac, a place that there's no path forward that is visible. And just so you know, in front of them was the Red Sea, but I need to let you know that behind them was the Egyptian army. Pharaoh had regretted his decision to let them go, so he began to chase them, and they're in a tight spot. Let's read a little bit. We'll throw it on the screens, and it'll be on your message notes. Exodus 14, verse number 10. As Pharaoh approached, the Israelites looked up, and there were the Egyptians marching after them. You ever feel like your problems seem to find you, like they just come to look? Yeah, they are marching after them, and they were terrified and cried out to the Lord. And then they said to Moses, was it because there were no graves in Egypt that you brought us to the desert to die? Why have you done this to us by bringing us out of Egypt? Did we not say to you in Egypt, leave us alone and let us serve the Egyptians? It would have been better for us to serve the Egyptians than to die in this desert. Moses answered the people, don't be afraid, stand firm, and you will see the deliverance of the Lord. The Egyptians you see today, you will never see again. The Lord will fight for you. You only need to be still. Verse 15, then the Lord said to Moses, I love God. I love the Bible. Why are you crying out to me? What I got to do with this? Tell the Israelites to move on. Come on, we're moving on. We're moving from here to there. We're moving from bitterness to wholeness. We're moving from where we are to where God desires for us to be. Raise your staff, Moses, and stretch out your hand over the sea to divide the waters so that the Israelites can go through the sea on dry ground. I want to speak to you from the title, How to Go Through It. How to go through it. Because the way from here to there is through it. Life is full of it. Some people are full of it. Come on and say amen. I don't know what it you're thinking of. Oh, yeah, you know. By it, let me define it for some of you in the room. I mean that pressure, that struggle, that pain, the unseen, unexpected, unescapable thing that you have to go through, and it happens to everyone. How many of you have it ever happened to? We raise your hand. Yeah, well, everybody. There is no escape. You need to listen to me. Some things you can't pray your way out of. Some things you can't fast your way out of. We're praying and fasting right now, but I can tell you right now, some things you can't pray your way out of, fast your way out of, faith your way out of. Some things in life, there is no way to get to it, but to go through it. And I'm learning it's how you go through, not just what you go through, that really matters. Because I've seen people go through the same set of circumstances, but experience it differently. Come on and say amen. And last week I told you, I want to kind of get us moving in the right direction. I told you about the Repticon that I took my kids to. And if you missed last week, you can go on podcast and listen to it. But we went to a reptile show with snakes and lizards and creepy crawly things and all kinds of different things like that. And the way that me and my sons experienced that were two different ways. In fact, I brought a picture of Carter. I wanted to show you Carter. Carter, he experienced it one way. Carter had this idea. This is Carter. This is Carter. Oh my God, look at the joy. Look at the wow, Dad. Look at that. That's amazing. That's how Carter went through the reptile show. Can I show you how I went through the reptile show? This is me looking at it. Oh, good. Play it again. Come on, play it again. Play it again. Hit it again. Same event. Two different experiences. I brought one of Graham. Show him my video, Graham. Show him little Grammy. This is Grammy. Check out.
Yeah? And don't be scared when the mouth comes closer to you. She won't bite. She's just
Liar.
trying to see
She's
what
a
you smell
liar.
like, okay?
Lady said, Dad, do you want to hold it? This is me when she tried to put that snake on me. Run, Forrest. I was running. What brought them joy brought me misery until I understood the power of choice. Choice. Now, some of you are thinking, well, Pastor, that's cute for your kids. But I didn't choose the pain, and I didn't choose the divorce, and I didn't choose the sickness, so this sermon does not apply to me. And that's the problem right there. That's the problem with everybody in this room. We give ourselves a pass. We give ourselves a pass on how we act because of what we experienced. But here's the deal. You can't choose everything you go through. You can't choose everything you go through, but you can for sure choose how to go through it. And I want to tell you today that Red Sea moments are defining moments. That this is the moment that can build your faith. This is the moment that God can show up. Because what looks dead to you is just the beginning of Him. I know you're going through it, but I got good news. You will go through it. You will get from here to there. So I want to give you three things in this text, three things that can help us. We're going to pray. We're going to worship a little more. Number one is this. Jot it down. Number one, don't idolize the past. Don't idolize the past. When you idolize the past, one of two things happen. You either exaggerate the negative and minimize the positive, or exaggerate the positive and minimize the negative. One of two things happen. I jotted a few down. And here's how the phrase starts when you idolize the past. In my day. In my day. Here's one I've heard. In my day, we didn't have computers. The brother word processor. Come on, somebody. Who remembers the brother word processor? Writing term papers on the brother word. In my day, we didn't have Google. We had the library and the Dewey Decimal System. Come on. Who knows the Dewey Decimal System? You're old. Anyway, so, hey, they taught me that too. That's right. We didn't have video games. We had outside. That's what we had. We had outside. But then it begins to shift. You know, it's kind of like, yeah, man, I'm tougher than you and I'm better than you. And then they say things like this. Life was better before cell phones. Who are you kidding? It might have been better before Facebook, but I don't know if it was better before cell phone. Because back in the day when you broke down in the country, you had to knock on, on Kill Your Kid Boulevard. No, we got the cell phone. I call AAA. I can get out. Here's another one. In my day, we had to get up and change the channel. Thank God for the remote. Come on, somebody. It's not better. We changed the channel. We had 3 channels, and you hated it. Yeah. All I'm trying to say is our memory is not that good. And idolizing the past never leads to a better tomorrow. Look what these fools said. Look at these fools, man. Israelites. Didn't we say to you in Egypt, leave us alone? Let us serve the Egyptians. And look at this. Look at this, people. It would have been, say it with me, better for us. What? These jokers is crazy. It would have been better for us to serve the Egyptians than to die. It would have been better for you where you were property. It would have been better for you. I would rather die a free man than die a slave. It would have been better for you. It would have been better for you when they killed babies, boys 2 and under. It would have been better for you in Egypt where they treated animals better than they treated you. It would have been better for you. Isn't it amazing how your current struggle can skew your perspective of the past? Isn't it amazing what that takes you through? And here's what I've learned. When we idolize the past, it's so easy to demonize the future. See, some people can't get from here to there because we can't get past our past. Some people can't get past their tragedy. And I'm not telling you to get over it. But some of us can't get past it because we feel like if we do get past it or get healing from it, it somehow lessens the person or the event or the thing. Like we feel like that if we get past it, we'll forget them. No, not forget it. Let me rephrase that. Sometimes we feel like if we get past it, we feel like we'll forget them. Am I preaching right? Yes. That's what we feel like. But here's what I know. There's a difference between a sore and a scar. I'm not going to forget it. I got a scar. How many got scars from your childhood? I'm not talking about the emotional ones. I'm talking about real ones. Where your brothers split your wig. I mean, you know what I'm saying? You got some scars. I got scars. I press on them. They don't hurt anymore. A sore, if I press on it. Can I ask you something? When God presses on it, does it still hurt? Some of us can't get past the past because we like the familiar. We don't want to get over our bitterness because we're just too comfortable with our bitterness. In fact, we don't know what we would think of and we don't know what we complain about. If we moved on and actually got healing from it, we would be lost. But so it's like a security blanket to us. Oh, I know. It's just the right amount of quiet at 8:30, man. Y'all been shouting me down, and I got it just right. We hold on to things that we don't even like because we're scared of what's on the other side. So if you're gonna go through it, Lord, you got to go through it, not idolize. The Israelites wanted to go back, and I want to say, don't go back. Don't go back to what held you back. Don't go back. Y'all know I've been fasting and working out, and I looked at the scale, and I lost a few pounds this week, y'all. And then somebody brought something to the office, and I thought it was for Pastor Matt's birthday. He had a birthday last week, and it's always sad because his birthday's in 21 days. He can't eat nothing. So I was like, who brought this cake in here? And Jesse and Melly said, that's not a cake, that's monkey bread. I said, well, I can have bread. Yes, I can. I can eat bread. I can't eat cake, but this is monkey bread. This monkey bread was so slathered in sugar and cinnamon and stuff. Yes, it was. Yes, I loved it. It was also. I just told him myself. Anyway, yeah. I had two voices right here. Have you ever had this? And one was saying, "Don't do it. Don't go back. You have detox from sugar. Your mind is clear. Your body is strong." I'm like, "Yes, it is." And then this little devil right here popped up and said, "It's bread, not cake." I'm like, "You right." Pooh. And I ate it. And I got some coffee and a cup of milk, and I might have added a Krispy Kreme. I don't know. I blacked out, okay? I blacked out. But if I could tell myself today, looking back, I would say, don't go back to what held you back. I would tell them, your past wasn't that great and your future's not that bad. That's what I would tell them. I would tell them that the good old days in Egypt weren't that good. I would tell them, and I would tell you, here's what I do. Well, let me tell you, I would tell you, get a vision for your life that exceeds yesterday. If you're living in the glory days, get a vision for your life that exceeds yesterday. Don't let what is behind you keep you from what is ahead of you. So here's the deal. Don't idolize the past. Don't demonize the past. What do? You learn from it. You learn from it. That's the best thing you can do with your past. Learn from it and look forward. Learn from it. And I've learned, now I'm looking forward. I made some mistakes, now I'm looking forward. Even though I don't know how it will turn out, I'm looking forward. I know whatever is behind me is not meant to go with me. I'm looking forward. With God, whatever is in front of me is greater than anything that is behind me. I'm looking forward. That's what I'm going to learn from it. If I'm going to remember anything about my past, I'm going to say, God, help me remember your faithfulness. Help me remember your power. Help me remember your deliverance. God, help me remember when you showed up and you brought me out and you picked me up out of the muck and the mire and you set my feet on a firm place to stand. God, if I'm going to take anything from the past, I'm taking my victories that God gave me. That's how I go through it. Second thing is this. Look at this, number two. Stand firm in between. Every journey has an in between. Every journey. Every journey from here to there is the two. Two. And two could be 2 months, 2 years, 22 years. There's this space in between what was and what will be. In between. They were in between the army of Egypt and the sea. In between. In between is when you've left where you were, but you haven't arrived where you're going. You're in between. Anybody ever been in between? You're in between. In between what you need and what you see. Oh, God, I need a deliverance, but there's a C and an... Okay. In between what you expected and what you experienced. In between. Watch what happens in between. We're going to do a little dissecting these verses right here. Here's what it says. Moses answered the people, don't be afraid. Say those 2 words with me. 1, 2, 3. Stand firm. Stand firm. And you will see the deliverance of the Lord that he will bring to you today. The Egyptians you see today, you will never see again. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be. Everybody's taking notes. Circle the word still. The NIV translation is not wrong. It's just weak, Pastor Ryan. It's weak. Because if you go back to the original Hebrew text, and the CSB that Pastor Ryan preaches from actually got this word right, the word is silent. Silent. You need only to be silent. So let me translate what God's telling the people. He says, stand firm and shut up. We don't say that at my house either, but I'm just telling you what the Bible says. I'm just going to preach the Bible, okay? Some people talk too much. Don't point. But we can talk ourselves out of what God called us into. We can talk too much even when we're wrong. My 9-year-old, man, Carter, that joker should be a lobbyist in Washington. By the end of the conversation, I doubt my own sanity. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Yeah, Dad, you said this, and here's how you said it, and here's when you said it. And I'm like, well, I'm sorry, I should not. Yeah, I said that. I'm sorry. I didn't say that. You need to be silent. That's what you need to be. So we got that. Back me up one slide to the stand firm. Circle the words, 2 words, stand firm, if you're a note taker. That word together means roots. Roots. Okay, because preachers are great at telling you what to do, not how to do it. So let me how you go through it. You got to stand firm and grow roots. Okay? Roots, I'm going to tell you more about roots than you need to know, but you need to get this word picture. Roots attached to the soil for stability. This is the year some people need to get some roots. You need to get some roots in your faith. You on surface level. Look good on the outside. No, you need to get some roots of perspective, some roots of wisdom, some roots of knowledge. You need to get some roots in your life because nature will teach you no roots, no fruit. No roots, no fruit. And here's what I figured out from Wikipedia about roots. Roots grow best in the right environment. Okay? Roots will, the environment you're in will either foster your growth or limit your growth. So sometimes your growth has less to do with your Sunday morning experience and your Monday through Saturday experience because roots grow best in the right environments. Come on, I need some backup for some people with some roots. It will either foster your growth or limit your growth because the people I know that grow, they have a walk with God that goes beyond a service to a devotion that I mentioned. We got prayer tomorrow night. You got to have some roots and get in the right environments. I found out roots grow best when you stay planted. Some people can't grow because they won't stay planted. Going from here to there, you got to stay planted. In fact, every year about this year, and we stole this idea from other churches, I tell people to take the 1-year challenge. Take the 1-year challenge. For 2020, I challenge you to do everything this church has to offer. Everything. We got a marriage conference coming up in February, and you need to go to it. My marriage is fine. Preventative maintenance. Consider it an oil change. Get a free date night. I don't care. You need kind of prayer nights. And when I say everything, you need to join a small group. Everything. I want to do everything. I'm going to serve. I'm going to go through the Grow Plan. I'm going to go to women's conference if I'm a woman. I'm going to go to men's summit if I'm a man. I'm going to do everything and see what will happen. Because about a week ago, our staff received this email, and I want to read it to you. First and foremost, I want to thank the entire church staff for the impact each one of you had, not only on myself, but also my family. We're closing our second full year of attending Anchor Point, and the relationships we have gained, the guidance we were given, and the closeness to God we have felt is beyond words. Since we started 2020 in our new series, I wanted to take a moment and share how 21 Days with God in 2019 affected my life. We started last year with a series called Gaining Ground. Pastor Todd said a few things that really stood out to me. And I tried to carry them throughout the year. I will never forget during the second week of the series when Pastor Todd said, if you want to test drive this thing for a year, do everything that this church has to offer and see if you grow in your faith. Grow plans, small groups, conferences, prayer nights, every program, every activity. See what God does in the course of your faith over the course of a year. I wrote that down because I was a place I really wanted to grow my faith. I committed to the idea of test driving Anchor Point Church for the year. The next night at Encounter. The next night. It's amazing that we got Encounter. Isn't that amazing? Like I planned this. Isn't that amazing? I didn't write the email, but came in at the right time. The next night, I want you to get this. The next night at Encounter Prayer, tomorrow night, 6 p.m., I felt the Lord speak to me. I can't do what I planned for you because you won't do what I've asked you to. See, God will speak to you if you give him room. He says, I knew what he was talking about. And for him, it was baptism. I got baptized at 10, but I knew I needed to commit my life fresh and my faith fresh to the Lord through baptism. By the way, we got baptism next Sunday. If you need to sign up to get baptized, just throwing that out there. I got baptized. I completed Grow Plan. I began talking to Pastor Ryan about joining the youth team. I had been turned away and hurt by a pastor before, so when I approached him, the door was kind of closed. To fast track everything, my wife and I were in small groups, serving in youth ministry, went to camps, conferences, prayer nights, committed to everything the church was doing. That's the good. Here's the hard. My wife was pregnant in February, and we were excited only to find out that she miscarried. As hard as it was for me, it crushed her. But she found help through all the avenues the church had to offer. We had a small group where other women had experienced the same thing. We continued to go to prayer nights where she would tell me that she could have this calming presence of God around her. We served at camps, kids camp, youth camps, just being involved, giving our gifts to the Lord. We found out in July that we were pregnant again. August, I had some things going on at work. It really tested me in every area of my life, and the fear of the unknown was starting to completely take me over. I was prepared to pack my family up and move wherever the best job would take me. On my way home from work, I had a calm feeling, and I kept hearing, everything will be fine. You're not done here. This is why you need to take notes. That evening, I was looking through my binder, and I came across 2 quotes from the Gaining Ground series. When you're frustrated, you can either lower the bar or raise the capacity. Run in 2019 will be like 2018, 2017, 2016. And it hit me like a ton of bricks. In the past years, I would have uprooted my family, took off because I was upset, angry, and felt like I had done something wrong. But then I remembered making a commitment to test drive this thing for a year. And that year wasn't over. So instead of running, I resisted. And I got a new job here. And I got a raise here. And God restored my passion and love for God here. Do it all and see what God will do. Not because I think we're so great, because I think God honors when you invest. Do it all. You need to do it all. If you haven't went through Grow Plan, you need to sign up today. We got a Grow Plan in 2 weeks. Grow Plan in 2 weeks. If you haven't been baptized, you need to sign up today. We've got baptism next week. We got a marriage event coming up in February. You can't sign up today, but you can do that next week. You know, just do it. A small group start in a couple of weeks. Do it all, because roots grow best when you stay planted. Here's another one. Roots pull nutrients from unseen places. See, plants absorb whatever they're planted in. So beneath the surface, Roots are pulling resources that produce the growth. What you can't see is producing the growth that you can see. See, growth starts in the roots. Roots aren't pretty, they're productive. It doesn't have to be pretty. You don't have to be pretty. You don't have to post about, yeah, I'm praying tonight at Encounter. Don't post about it, pray about it. You don't have to post I'm in a small group, join a small group. You don't have to post I'm getting marriage advice, just come to marriage conference. You got to do that. Why? Because roots will hold you when life shakes you. And David said, I want to be like a tree that is planted by the water. I will not be moved. And if you invest, if you press in, I'm telling you, I'm feeling week 3 right now, because by the time week 3 gets here in 21 days, I'm like, bring it on, devil. Bring on the wind. Bring on the waves. Bring on the rain. Bring it on. In fact, don't bring it on. I'll bring the fight to you, because I got a little bit of fight in me. I'm going to take my family back. I'm going to take my joy back. Got a little fight in me. Got a little fight in me. Why? Because I've been growing roots over the last 3 weeks. I understand that the God that is fighting for me is stronger than any opposition that stands against me. That's what I understand. I'm going to stand firm. And then we see this word. I'm going to see deliverance. Deliverance. I ain't talking about the movie and banjo music. I'm talking about deliverance. I ain't talking about demons and holy water. I'm talking about deliverance. Here's what deliverance is. Y'all ready for a little Bible study? All right, deliverance is this. Deliverance is for anyone who still struggles with their sin nature. Deliverance is for people whose past keeps limiting their future. So Israel was enslaved for 400 years. Here's what slavery is. Slavery is submitting to a dominating influence. Let me put that in modern day lingo. I hope you're jotting some of this down. It's going to help you maybe a year from now. You might want to look back at your notes. Slavery is living a life you're forced to live but don't want to live. That's what slavery is. Slavery is living the life you are forced to live but don't want to live. Listen to me. You can be free and still act like a slave. One pastor said it like this. You can be out of Egypt, but Egypt still be in you. That's why they need deliverance. They need to know that there is life beyond captivity. And that's why he says the Egyptians you see today, the past that is chasing you today, it's never gonna chase you again. Now, you'll have battles when you get there. There's Philistines there. There's Canaanites and Hittites and all them ites are there. But I can tell you right now, the past, we're going to deal with that today. Listen to me. You can have victory over sin. I got about a quarter of the room that believes me. I'm going to preach till you get it. You can have victory over sin. You can be healed from your hurt. You can be free from your yesterday, but it will take more than natural solutions. You're going to need to get a hold of God. When you look around, you see somebody that's been set free from addiction, set free from tragedy, set free from loss, set free from pain. That didn't happen accidentally. You might have to get along with God and say, God, I need to see deliverance from you. You might have to do some business with God. You might have to cry some tears. You might have to lose some sleep. But my question is, how bad do you want to be free? How bad do you want to be free from your yesterday? How bad do you want to be free from Egypt? How bad are you still long for it? Do you still feel the pull of it? To be free, number 3, band, come on up and join me. Number 3, stretch out. Stretch out. To go through. Here's how you do it. How do you go through it? Here's how. Stretched out. That's how. How do you go through it? How do you go through pain? How do you go through loss? How do you go through dead ends? How do you go through unescapable circumstances? You go through it stretched out. Most people want to get from here to there, but few people want to stretch. And to get from here to there, you will have to stretch. Everybody say stretch. God will fight for you. He will lighten the load for you, but you will have to, say it with me, you will have to stretch. He will provide for you in times of need. He will split the Red Sea, but you will have to, say it with me, stretch. And when God says stretch out, don't negotiate with him. Who are we to negotiate with God? When God says stretch, we stretch. Show him the verse. Raise your staff, Moses. Okay. Stretch out your hand. Do you see it? Do you see it? How do you go through it? Stretch means to grow wider and longer and go further without breaking. So stretch. I challenge you. You got 6 days left. Some of you hadn't even started. You can pick up a guide on the way out, 21 days way out, and stretch. Some of you, you've been doing the bare minimum. Stretch. Would you stand with me all over this house? There's a sermon that's been in my head, and I'm just going to preach it now. Called, Pastor Matt, I wanted to call it, There is Strength in the Stretch. That's what I want to call it. There's strength in the stretch. And I was going to do yoga for y'all. It's going to be amazing. I'm just kidding. But I kept going back to this thought. Stretch out your staff. Stretch out your hands. Stretch, stretch, stretch. And then I looked at the gospel. There's a man with a shriveled hand, Chris. And he has it in a cloak. And Jesus said, hey, stretch out the shriveled place. Stretch. There was one in Elijah, in 2 Kings, when the widow's son had died. And the Bible says that he stretched out on the boy, and the dead thing came back. There's strength in the stretch. So this right here is not for people who are perfect. It's not for people who got it all together. But if you're ready for the last 7 days, come on, will you stretch with me?